Welcome. It's wonderful here to talk technology. Wonderful here to talk about partnerships, how governments can collaborate and create opportunities for welfare of people across countries. Today, important day as we speak to Chandru Iyer. He's Deputy Trade Commissioner Investment for South Asia, and try and understand from him because India is at the center of action and action by important dignitaries visiting the country. Tell us, Chandru, quite a bit of action in the last few months with so many important people visiting in the context of the free trade agreement that has to be signed. Give us a flavor of what's happening.
Thank you, Ashok. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me, before I go back to the broader India agenda, I would probably start from Bangalore, the post where I am based as the Deputy High Commissioner as well. I've been there for last 100 days and the 100 days has seen a lot of action. I started my role in November, and early in the new year we had a delegation of technology companies from the UK with a focus on the policing sector. Then we had this big event around Aero India, which is like the biggest aerospace event, where we had the UK Minister for Defence Procurement in town, and we'll talk a bit more about what results we got out of that, which was followed by a delegation of health tech companies from the UK. Last week we had a delegation of UK retail and luxury brand from UK coming over to India as well. And then of course before that we had the Chancellor of the Exchequer. He was there in Bangalore for the G20 summit, but also with a more broader agenda of meeting with tech CXOs in Bangalore and understanding the Indian tech landscape. If you put all those things into perspective, what you see is, if that's what Bangalore has to offer, what the India story for the UK would look like. This just shows, the commitment and the seriousness of UK towards the India relationship. It is a strategic relationship. It's been a long-term relationship, but the future is quite bright. And I find myself in India at a very interesting time to be a part of UK government's network in India and playing my own part in growing the trade and investment relationship between the two countries.
Awesome, because also this is the time when the FTA is expected to be signed by the two governments and the expectations are growing. Technology is at the heart of the partnership. There is a whole lot of other things happening. When should we expect, and the business world expect, the FTA to be ready for the two governments to take the plunge?
What I would say is that the free trade agreement between India and the UK is something that not just the two countries but the world is waiting for. At the same time, both the two countries realize that this is an agreement which will have a long-lasting effect in terms of how it plays out to benefit both the countries. So we at the UK government, and I'm sure the Indian side as well, are looking for a deal that benefits both the countries, benefits its people, benefits the economy in more ways than one. And when that has to happen, we should not bring the time into the equation. And so the deal will happen when both the two countries are happy. The deal will happen when it has to happen. But when it happens, the after effect of it is going to be very positive. We have India as the 5th largest economy, UK as the 6th largest economy. Today, the trade and investment numbers between the two countries, we're currently sitting at around 34 billion pounds. And the understanding or the expectation is that once we have the FTA done, the focus will be to grow these numbers and hopefully look to double it by the end of this decade. So the potential is enormous. The opportunities are mind-boggling, I would say. But the free trade agreement has got the potential to be that game changer, to take the business to the next level.
You're talking of doubling in the next 7 years. So you did mention about some of the important dignitaries who've been visiting India. Give us a sense of what could be the pillars on which this growth will happen.
So if you look at the relationship between India and the UK, on a lighter sense, I would always call it, it's about many seas that connects the India and the UK. So you've got cricket, you've got curry, you've got Commonwealth, you've got cinema, and you've got commerce. Putting that aside, if you look at the key pillars which we really focus on as the UK government, we would say that the focus is on, one is the living bridge, we call it, the people to people connect between India and the UK, which is quite strong. Prime Minister Modi, when he was in the UK, he coined the term living bridge, and the Indian diaspora in the UK currently is close to 1.6 billion people, I would say even more, and their contribution to the UK economy across all walks of life is quite phenomenal. Along with that, the second pillar that is about trade and investment and prosperity. So, British companies investing in India, significantly creating jobs and making capital investments in India, whereas you've got Indian companies in the UK doing a phenomenal job in terms of investing across key sectors and key subsectors, creating job opportunities, also working on key initiatives like skill development. So that's the second pillar. Then you got three key pillars, which is, you got your climate. Both the countries are very focused on working on a sustainable agenda. We had COP26 in Glasgow a couple of years ago, and both the countries have been working on the agenda from there on and looking to help each other in a collaborative manner on a lot of the climate proposals that are in play now. Then the fourth area is health, which is again a sector that came into prominence a lot more recently when you had this fantastic collaboration example of Oxford University coming together with AstraZeneca and bringing Serum Institute into play to create a world-beating vaccine, which has today helped us to fight COVID and make the world a safer place. The fifth pillar, if I can call it, is defense and security. UK is very keen in a post-Brexit world to focus on an Indo-Pacific agenda. We call it the Indo-Pacific tilt, and a significant part of that is to ensure that India is at the fulcrum of that Indo-Pacific relationship that we have. And from that perspective, India and the UK are working on a lot of focused collaborative agenda in the area of defense and aerospace and security. I mentioned about Aero India earlier. We had a good visit by the Minister for Defense Procurement. We had a lot of good wins coming out of it, but the big win from that I would say was Air India announcing purchase of Airbus aircrafts, and especially the A350s, which are the wide-bodied aircraft, will all be having a Rolls-Royce engine. The wings of those planes will be manufactured in the UK. The wings will be designed in the UK, creating not just job opportunities but significant investments that will come into the UK on the back of it. So the pillars are 5, but the enormous are a lot more than just 5. The opportunities, I would say. Yeah.
I love the way you put it, because you spoke about the wings. The partnership could be taking wings together as well. For the future, since you referred to it doubling, could these be the focus areas, or there are other opportunities for Indian businesses and UK businesses to work together?
The focus is on these 5 pillars, but as you rightly said, if we need to have the wings to fly, we have to look beyond the obvious, or should I say, think out of the box. And we are at the cusp of some of the cutting edge technology that is on display between both the two countries. And technology is something that cuts across sectors, cuts across countries, and we're going to see a lot of opportunities coming on the back of it. I can give you some quick examples. There is a company called Cure AI. So we are talking about the AI sector. They are AI specialists in the area of radiology and health, and they have tied up with a company in the UK called Medica to offer AI-based radiology solutions for NHS. And they have now become one of the key suppliers to the NHS of radiology services, which is AI-based, which cuts the time of X-rays being examined and the results coming out of it. You have a company called Visa, which is a mental health app from India that has gone into the UK. You have other areas of fintech, blockchain, AR, VR. So when I say technology, again, it plays out into a wider field. And I'm saying that the opportunities are phenomenal and the numbers are here for everyone to talk about, really.
Okay, one final question on the India part of it, where the UK companies are looking to learn from India and learn. The policymakers are also looking to work with Indian companies and Indian government. What could scale up in the UK for Indian companies, a lot of those companies also have global ambition as well?
Very good question. And again, this is an area which I've been working on for the last 15 years in my role in the private sector before I entered the world of the public sector and the world of diplomacy. I've helped a lot of Indian businesses to go to the UK. And I've seen the changing transition of, if I look at 20 years ago, a lot of Indian companies were going into the UK just from the point of view of providing services. A lot of focus from a technology sector was on providing software services to the UK. Cutting it to 20 years later, now what you're seeing is now companies are going to the UK with a product-based approach, with a solution-based approach. What can we offer to the UK in terms of, helping the UK get to the next level of technology enhancement? There is a term that was used in India when the defense minister was here, the defense minister for procurement was here, and he said, we're not just looking at make in India, we're looking at creating in India. So, and creating in India and taking it to the wider world. And it's the same the other way around as well. What we're seeing from Indian companies today in the UK is, as I said, they are significant job creators, they are significant investors into the UK. But more importantly, what they are looking at the UK as their gateway to the wider world. So most of these companies are looking at UK as the preferred option to have their global headquarters. And there are reasons why they want to do that. The reasons are basically two, the main ones. One is availability of skills and the availability of funding. From both the side, London is the undisputed financial capital of the world. A lot of VC funding available. Last year we raised, in terms of amount, the UK raised close to £15 billion worth of VC funding, especially in the tech sector. There's been a lot of focus. And in terms of skill development, the UK government is very focused on that. So we are spending close to £4 billion on a skilling agenda. We also have something called as an apprenticeship levy, which is used for, supporting a very focused apprenticeship program. And the focus is again on the STEM sector. So let's say, to help the technology sector grow. Because, the Chancellor has a vision. When he came to Bangalore, he mentioned that I have a vision to get the next Silicon Valley in the UK. And he got a lot of food for thought from the CXOs that he met in Bangalore. But the two things that stood out for him was that skilling is very important. So while you'll have global mobility of people coming in and offering their skills and competencies to the UK, it's very important for the UK to also develop its own skilling agenda. So that is a big focus area that will be there. And along with that, as I said, the funding is there. You bring these two things together and the opportunities that UK and the wider world has to offer. I think there is no other alternative for Indian companies, I would say, than to look at UK as the preferred place of destination for them to invest and set up their global headquarters.
It's a fantastic point that you've made, Chandru, because it also, you referred to that about your own personal, the way you've changed from a private specialist, private sector, and now to the public sector. Tell us about that experience, because that is what is now in a particular sense driving you to achieve something.
I was born in India, of Indian origin. I spent my early days in India, worked in Bombay, worked in Delhi. My last two roles here in India were with economic development agencies of other countries. Then I got headhunted and went to the UK to work for a couple of consulting firms. And I was there for 15 years before I got this opportunity to come back to my country of origin and to help and support the British government. When I got this opportunity, I looked at it from two ways. One is, of course, it was my way of, giving back to the country that's given me and my family so much over the last 15 years. But more importantly, I felt, this was the perfect time to be on the India-UK corridor. Bring my experience of having worked in the public sector briefly and in the private sector, bring that learnings and bring that experience together and see how I can make a difference. It's been a great journey. As I said, it's been 100 days in my role, but I feel like I've been here for a long time. I worked with a lot of people in this ecosystem on the other side, and now I'm on the government side. So it's been a fantastic experience. As I said, the timing cannot be better. The free trade agreement is being discussed. It's a great time to be in India as India, celebrates the presidency of the G20 and some of the phenomenal activities that have been happening over the last 3 months. If anything to go by, I think India, there's lots to happen for the next 6-8 months of India's presidency. And from the UK side, the commitment to India is there. It's a strategic relationship, and in terms of visits of ministers and delegations that is happening, it just further strengthens that belief that that the two countries are here to doing more stuff together, working on a lot of collaborative opportunities, and I find myself in a great place to be a part of that story.
Super. So, given your commitment, your passion to it, can you tell us what do international investors, large companies, Indian or from other countries, expect when they go and invest your country?
Let me start from India. So the Department for Business and Trade that I represent in terms of helping foreign investors to go to the UK. We are a 130 member strong team in India. We are spread around the country, and our main focus is twofold: to help British companies to explore opportunities in India, and to help Indian businesses to invest and set up their operations in the UK. This team is very well supported by a team on the ground back in the UK. So I like to say that our role is that of a catalyst. We like to call ourselves enablers. We don't get into the business, but we offer our services which are bespoke, which are it doesn't have a price tag attached to it, and we have got specialists in the UK. We understand the sectors, we understand what businesses are looking to achieve. We like to be a part of their team and handhold them on their journey to the UK. So when they land in the UK, they already are quite familiar with the structure, with the help and support available. So it's a very seamless kind of an approach that we bring as a government department. We work across sectors, across verticals. If it is manufacturing, we will show them manufacturing sites where they can go and have their presence. If they are technology companies, we like to open up doors for them in the UK in terms of introducing them to ecosystem players and stakeholders to help them understand the intricacies of working and doing business in the UK. As I said, we are a government department, and we are here to help and support foreign investors on their journey. We are at a lot of events and forums to talk about our presence. Like for example, we are at the NASSCOM Technology and Leadership Forum in Mumbai, where we are talking to a lot of technology companies and telling them how they should look at the UK as their next expansion footprint. So yeah, I would say please do come and talk to us, and my team, we are here to help and support.
So since you referred to technology, nothing kind of resonates better in the global platform than India's fintech companies. London is acknowledged as the global head, or the place to be for global financial services and banking. What kind of partnerships do you see that emerging when you marry the two opportunities?
UK finds itself, or should I say London particularly as well, finds itself at the cusp of technology and financial services. Of my time that I've spent in the UK, I like to refer to this region called Old Street, which was an area in London which was at the cusp of a technology ecosystem and the financial district called the City of London Corporation. And if you see that area, how it is developed today, you don't call it the Old Street, you call it the Silicon Roundabout. But the businesses that are there, are all cutting edge fintech businesses. I would like to name check some of them, like you have Revolut, you've got Tide, you've got Monzo. All these players have come out of UK and now become global fintech players. And I would say that the potential for Indian fintech players to explore opportunities in the UK is again quite large. There are a lot of banks and financial institutions who are very keen to talk to budding fintech companies and explore their offerings. We have this whole sandbox structure wherein a lot of banks like to support some of the entrepreneurs and new age fintech companies who want to go on their journey. There are a couple of events where there is a lot of fintech activity happens. So there is an event called the London Tech Week that happens in June, where again a lot of fintech players from around the world come together. Not just fintech players, but the broader technology ecosystem comes together as well. There is also something called as a global Innovate Finance. It's a global fintech summit that happens sometime in April. Again, it's a great platform for companies to come and not just understand the UK fintech landscape, but also get an opportunity to network and interact with other fintech players from around the world. So I think I would say that UK/London is not just a place for opportunities and doing business, but it's a melting pot of people coming together from around the world to explore collaboration and opportunities to work together.
So since we're trying to widen this, so what is the easiest opportunity for Indian tech startups to be part of this growth story, not just the fintechs?
I would say that do come and experience the UK for yourself. It's one thing to look at opportunities from here, but I think when you are actually there, whether it's part of a delegation which we as the Department for Business and Trade would take across to the UK, or whether it's through other trade bodies, do look at opportunities to come and see for yourself, come and immerse yourself in the opportunities that are available there. Come and talk to people, come and talk to your peers in the industry. Nothing more than rather than sitting here and thinking how should I take my next move. Come and see for yourself, but more importantly, even before you do that, come and talk to us, come and talk to the Department of Business and Trade. We are a team of trade and investment advisors spread around the country. Come and talk to us. We will help you chart out your path to success in the UK, and we'll be part of a journey across the way. Yeah.
Okay, I'd also like to understand from you the GP's secret sauce and who's eligible for GP support as well.
Glad you brought it up. So GP has been something that has worked wonderfully well for the UK. It's been there for a long time now. We call it the Global Entrepreneurs Program. And what we do in that is identify early stage entrepreneurs with the next big business idea. It should be a proven concept, and we go across the country. We have got dedicated resources who come and meet these entrepreneurs. We go through an exercise of talking to them and understanding the requirements. Of course, we can't take them all to the UK, so we have a shortlisting criteria on the basis of which companies are shortlisted, and then the eligible ones, we take them to the UK. We give them a soft landing in the UK. We give them access to experts. We give them access to helping them set up their operations and handholding them through the journey. So I can share more details for those who are available. More details will be available from our team and on the website. But please do come and talk to us. It's a great opportunity to explore the Global Entrepreneur Program. We are currently also doing a boot camp for health tech companies from India who would like to go to the UK. Just to put things in context, over the last period of 10 odd years that GEP has been in existence, we have helped close to 1100 entrepreneurs come to the UK and experience success. So please do come and talk to us on the GEP.
Okay, so since you spoke also of diplomacy, let me raise the issue of cricket diplomacy. Now, a British sport taken to the world by, I would not say Indian effort, but driven by a lot by stars from around the world. Now, T20 is played in 105 countries of the ICC. Now, when do we expect the Indo-British trade to take off like a T20 match and be really taken to the masses like that?
Good question. And I'm a big cricket buff myself, so I always like to find out analogies between business and cricket. So like for example, I always tell companies that it's very important to get the first run on the board to taste success. So I always talk about cricket. Glad you brought the topic of T20. Of course, IPL has been a great success, it's been a global success, but I should say that T20 has its roots in the UK. So the first T20 match was played in England. and the T20 rules were brought in by the England and Wales Cricket Board. The first series did happen in England. So yeah, what came out of England has been taken to the next level by the IPL and by India. So it's again a great example of India-UK collaboration. I would like to put it that way. And T20 is a fast game, is a fast-moving game. And if I see in the context of technology and the way things are changing and evolving, I like to refer to this term called time to market. There was a time when you used to launch a phone and it'll be there and it'll be like in vogue for the next couple of years. Now a phone or a technology that comes in becomes obsolete in a very quick time. So I think I would say that from an India-UK relationship perspective, from a technology perspective, the relationship has to take into consideration what's happening around us and be nimble, be agile to the circumstances around us. So just like T20 cricket is there, but at the same time the high we get out of a test match game is something that we can't forget. So it can have the dynamics of T20, but we should not forget the basics of test match cricket.
Okay, so since cricket was one of the 5 Cs you initially spoke of, my last question, any guesses who could be among the top honours, who could look for the top honours for the World Cup later this year?
You're going to put me in a tight spot on this one, but let me answer it this way. I'm a diplomat, so I'm going to answer it in the most diplomatic manner. I would like to see India and England in the finals of the 2023 50-over Cricket World Cup. The final will be played at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, watched by 120,000 people. I would like to be there, and I would like to have our Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Prime Minister Modi sitting together, enjoying the finals, and may the best team win.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's a game to look forward to if it happens, and I'm sure millions across both these countries would love to watch that. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much, Ashu. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.